It was supposed to be a night of celebration, laughter, and dancing. The wedding hall glittered with chandeliers, the air heavy with the scent of roses and perfume. Music pulsed through the floor, but I felt an unusual tension gnawing at my stomach. My husband, usually easygoing at family gatherings, sat across the room with a glass of wine, his eyes narrowing every time I smiled at someone else. I told myself I was imagining it. After all, it was just a dance, a moment of light-hearted fun with my cousin, someone I'd grown up with, someone I trusted. When the first song started, I saw him watching, the corner of his mouth tight, jaw clenched. He never came to the dance floor, not even for a slow number. I hesitated for a split second, but my cousin reached for my hand with a grin I couldn't resist. The music swelled, the crowd clapping, cheering us on, and I danced. For a moment, I felt carefree, spinning, laughing, remembering childhood weddings where nothing mattered except joy. But then I caught his gaze, sharp, unforgiving, full of something I didn't recognize at first. The laughter around us faded into a dull hum in my ears. My husband rose, face flushed, moving toward me like a storm I hadn't seen coming. My cousin noticed the tension and I felt a flicker of panic, but I tried to finish the song, to act as if nothing was wrong. I smiled, kept my hands light on my cousin's shoulders, pretending the music alone was the reason we moved together. And yet, every step I took felt heavier. I realized that in his mind, this simple dance wasn't innocent. It wasn't playful or nostalgic, it was a betrayal. Not of the law, not of the world, but of him, of the trust we'd built over years. And suddenly the hall didn't feel festive anymore. It felt like a battlefield. He stopped just a few feet away, his eyes dark, voice low but cutting through the music. "What do you think you're doing?" The words were simple, but the weight behind them crushed the air around me. I froze, unsure if I should laugh nervously, apologize, or explain. My cousin stepped back, sensing the storm about to hit. I tried to meet my husband's gaze, to show him there was nothing more than dancing, that it meant nothing beyond the rhythm and the joy of the night. But he didn't hear me. His hand shot out, grabbing my wrist, not violently but enough to make my heart skip. "Do you think this is funny?" he asked, every syllable a measure of betrayal. My lips parted, searching for words that could calm him, but the crowd had gone silent around us. Eyes watched, whispers grew, and I realized the small act of dancing had exploded into something much larger than me. I wanted to tell him it was harmless, that it was my cousin, my family. But the truth felt useless against the storm of hurt and jealousy in his eyes. And deep down I understood, I had crossed an invisible line he'd drawn long ago. A line I hadn't known existed until now. I let go of my cousin's hand, trying to retreat gracefully without shaming him further. But he wouldn't let it go. His anger wasn't just about the dance. It was about fear, about control, about the idea that someone else could be closer to me than he was in that moment. Every step I took towards safety only seemed to tighten the tension. The laughter, the music, the clinking of glasses, it all became a background hum to the storm brewing right in front of me. And in that instant I realized something terrifying. This wasn't just a reaction. This was a glimpse of a deeper pattern I hadn't seen before, a side of him I'd ignored, hoping it wouldn't matter, hoping the night's joy would be enough to cover the cracks. But it wasn't. The music slowed, replaced by murmurs and the occasional clink of glasses. But the silence between us was louder than anything in the hall. He pulled me aside, just out of sight, voice trembling now with a mix of hurt and fury. "Do you even care how this looks?" he demanded. I swallowed, feeling a mixture of fear, guilt, and frustration. "It was just a dance," I whispered. "It meant nothing." His eyes locked onto mine, and in that moment I saw everything he'd been holding inside, the insecurities, the jealousy, the fear of losing me, even for a few fleeting seconds. And I realized then that a simple dance had become a mirror, reflecting the cracks in our relationship that we'd both ignored for too long. We didn't raise our voices after that. The storm passed silently, but the weight lingered. The rest of the night went on as if nothing had happened, yet everything had changed. We returned home carrying the memory, the unspoken tension, and a new understanding of boundaries and respect. I still remember that night, not for the dancing, not for the wedding, but for the moment I saw him, truly, and the silent reckoning that followed. Some lessons arrive wrapped in music and laughter, yet leave marks far deeper than any words could explain.